Okay, welcome everybody. Appreciate everybody taking some time out of the Sunday night here to jump on this call. I know we have a number of people and some are still logging in, but I want to get right to it for all those that jumped on here early. We've got a major announcement to make tonight on behalf of the whole Freedom Builder team, and we want to share that with everybody tonight. As I said, before we started the recording, we are recording this call, so we'll have this in the back office of Freedom Builder Info sometime tomorrow, so you can go back there and review it again. We probably can answer some questions at the end. The call has been muted, but you can put a question in the question box on the webinar, and I'll try to get to as many of those as I can. So let me kind of set the stage for you here on the premise of this call. We're super excited about this. I was able to have a chance to sit with Ron Blumenkemper and share, our thoughts, our leaders' thoughts with him regarding what we want to do here in the next quarter of this year. As you know, our goal is real simple, and we've said this from the beginning. It's always been our goal, and that is to develop leaders on the Freedom Builders team. And the only way to do that is we need to all be pulling in the same direction. And I know from a leadership standpoint, we certainly all are. What we want to do in the next quarter of this year, or the last quarter of this year, is really ramp it up and really take this to the next level. Now, this is really unprecedented right now in the company. I've sat down with Ron Blumenkemper, shared it with the leadership, and we all agree that this is something we want to do for the last quarter of this year. I can't promise you it's going to continue after the last quarter or after this quarter, but I can tell you that we have approval from Ron Blumenkemper to go forward with this here, and that's why we're calling this a bombshell announcement. I mean, I really believe it's a major, major deal. For those of you that really understand our business, which is about building people, a big part of building people is getting promotions, is getting people promoted. So I'm going to go right to it. How fast do you want to get your next promotion? We have people at all different levels on this call. We have people that have been with us a week or two or three. We have people that have been with us, 3 or 4 years, or since I started here, just a short 3.5 years ago. But the key to our business, and it's always going to be, is people really running or fighting for the next promotion. So are you and your team running for it? That's the question. So if I went around this call, which of course we're muted, and asked people what their next promotion level was, I think most people know what their next level is, but the real question is, what do you have to do to get there? And that's really the most important thing, right? Is how do we get to the next level? How do we move beyond where we are and get to the next level? So I want to take you through it, and that's why we're calling this a bombshell announcement, because I personally think it's a huge opportunity for everybody on this call, regardless of the level you're at, for you to move 1 or 2 or 3 levels. Yes, that's what I said, 1 or 2 or 3 levels in the next 90 days. So let me get right to it. First thing is, you look at our current promotional guidelines. I think most of you know this, and like I said, if you're new in our business and you've been with us maybe a week or 2 or 3, you may not have all the details on this, and that's okay. We'll get you to it, and you can see that on our website anyhow. But here's what the current promotional guidelines are for you to go from the start to a regional manager. Okay, you come on board, everyone starts at the same level of 30%. Once you complete our 3-step process, right, you become a product of the product, and you can do this and do it in 10 days or less. Become a product of the product, build your list, and do a minimum of 3 field training presentations, you move to 35. When in district manager, it's real simple. You basically bring 3 people on board, complete 6,000 points, and this is what your trainer is doing with you. Of course, new people don't have a license when they first come on board, and you would move to a district manager level at 45%. None of that has changed. Regional manager, it's basically have 3 district managers and do 20,000 points, and you become a regional manager. Well, I'm going to announce, here's our first bombshell announcement starting today. And I think this is significant, okay? First 3 levels essentially stay the same, But look at regional manager. Beginning today, for everybody on this call, and everybody who's not on this call in terms of the Freedom Builder team, the new promotion guideline to go to regional manager is 12,000 points and 3 direct qualified associates, not legs, not district managers, just 3 direct qualified associates. What is a qualified associate? Somebody that has obviously come on board with us. They're a product of the product, okay? That's what a qualified associate is. They've completed the 3 steps. They're a product of the product. They put a list together, and they've done at least 3 field training presentations. That is a qualified associate. So effective today, if you're brand new and you're working with the trainer, and your trainer identifies 3 people to come on board with you and your team, and you do 12,000 points with those 3 people or yourself personally, then you get promoted to regional manager. You might say, wow, that's unbelievable. I don't even have a license yet. You don't need a license to achieve that level. You're going to be what we call a qualified regional manager. You'll be a bona fide, or you will be a regional manager as soon as you have your license, okay? So this is the first bombshell. But our business, as most of you know, especially the leadership on this call, it's all about building regional vice president. And our current regional vice president level is this, okay? In order to go to the 70% level, you need to develop 3 direct regional managers. You need to do 60,000 points over a 90-day period. And once you do that, you get promoted to the regional vice president level, okay? Now, effective today, over the last quarter, here's the new bombshell announcement. Regional vice president, 20,000 of points in the next 90 days with 4 direct qualified associates. So what does that mean? That means you can come on board today. For those of you that are new on this call today, you just hit the jackpot, okay? Because working with the trainer, you can go all the way to regional vice president with 4 direct qualified associates and 20,000 points over a 90-day period of time, which can all be done with your trainer, even without a license. Now, of course, it doesn't go into effect until you have a license, at which point you'd be at the regional vice president level. So what does that mean? That's a 66% difference in production requirements, meaning it's only a third of what you need to do presently from a present guideline, and it's a 90% difference in recruiting requirements. We presently have an ELT, or educational license and training reimbursement. A new associate will receive $900 upon completion of that. That is still in effect. So if someone, goes out there and completes, 3 direct sponsors or 3 direct people in the business, they complete 3 training sales, which they observe but do not participate in, and it's at least 6,000 points, they will, once they get their license, get $900. Our new ELT is real simple. If you complete this here in a 90-day period, now it is 90 days, okay? But as a new person, you're working with the trainer that is more than capable of getting it done for you. If you are presently a district manager or a regional manager, that's your next promotion level. If you're already licensed, you know exactly what you have to do, right? But here's what a new person gets as a reimbursement. Those that qualify for this in 90 days or less, the reimbursement is $3,000. So if you do 20,000 points over 90 days with your trainer, and you have 4 qualified associates, once you get your license, you'll be reimbursed $3,000 from that trainer who is working with you. So I think this is a huge bombshell, because what it's doing is it's helping us from the very new person coming on board to our existing leadership, everybody now starting to run for the next promotion. So let me give you a visual, okay? Right now, here's our current promotional guidelines. If you look at this picture, this is basically what your team would look like. 39 total people, if everything was in perfect order, 60,000 points in a 90-day period of time. You do that and you're promoted to regional vice president. Here's what the present guidelines are effective today through the end of this year. Looks like this. You come on board, you have 4 direct qualified associates. Again, qualified associates, they completed the 3 steps. You do 20,000 points in 90 days, and you are promoted to regional vice president. So I think it's exciting days for us at the Freedom Builders because now you have the ability to move through the system quickly. You have the ability to work with the trainer to help you, regional vice president. And by the way, we're not done yet, folks, okay? So for those of you that have been with us a while or you're already regional vice presidents, clearly for you to move in the system, you need to develop vice presidents, right? Here's our current promotional guidelines. For you to go to senior vice president, that's a 73% contract. You have to do 160,000 points in a 90-day period of time. You need to have 3 RVPs direct, okay? And once you do that in a 90-day period of time, you would go to 73%. Now, how do you go to 81%? I'm not going to go through every one with you. I'm sure you can all see that. How do you go to 81%? Well, in a 90-day period of time, you need to do 800,000 points or production in 3 months. You need to have 8 direct vice presidents, regional vice presidents, in a 90-day period of time, and you go to 81%. So here are the new guidelines effective today for the last quarter of this year. SVP, 35,000 points in 90 days, and 3 direct RVPs. Now, an RVP is a person who has 4 qualified associates. They've done a minimum of 20,000 points in a 90-day period of time. That's an RVP. 3 of those, you go to senior vice president along with 35,000 points. But let me bring your attention right to the 81. Again, you can read the others. 81%, do 80,000 points in 90 days. That's a 90% reduction. Right now it's 800,000. Do 80,000, that's 10%, and have 4 direct RVPs. So that's 4 people who have either RVPs, meaning either you already have them in place, or if they're not in place yet, it's 4 people who have 4 qualified associates direct to them and have done 20,000 points in a 90-day period of time. So what am I saying here? We have many people on this call. Some are regional vice presidents at 70%. Some are national vice presidents at 76%. How do you get to your next promotion? Well, if you're a national vice president and you want to go to 79%, or let's say you want to go right to the 81, what's your game plan for the next 90 days? It's A, make sure you have 4 direct RVPs or build them in the next 90 days. So if you said, well, Al, I've got 2 RVPs right now. Okay, so what do you need? You need 2 more. So you need 2 direct people who each have 4 people that are qualified associates, and they each do 20,000, probably with you as the trainer, over the next 90 days. Well, if you have 2 that do that, you have half the production already. Then you only need the other half of the production from your existing RVPs or other people that you bring on board. My point is this here. If everybody is running for a promotion, if every new person wants to be promoted to vice president, I mean, seriously, folks, if you're going to do this business, doesn't it make sense to move as fast as you can? It doesn't minimize any training. In fact, it maximizes your training because the more you do, the faster you're going to learn. But you'll be able to learn it even with a higher contract, okay? So if you're at 76 or 73, you have a chance to go to 81% or higher, because you'll see that in a minute, by doing 10% of the requirements. Now, I can't, as I said to you earlier, I've gotten this approved with Ron Blumenkamp. I can't promise you we're going to be able to do this beyond the next quarter. So I want to have an attitude on our team that it's, you know, we do it in this next quarter or we bust, because I don't know what's going to happen January 1st. Here's what I can tell you. They're looking very seriously at this here. So it all depends on how good of a job we do. If we really do promoting this and people are getting promoted, which is what this is all about, folks, make no mistake about it, then we have a chance to make this the norm or be able to continue it past the first of the year, okay? Now, it doesn't stop here, folks. We also have people at higher levels. We have people that are at 84%. We have some co-founders. We have people that want to be founders and want to be CEOs. Here's what the current guidelines are. For you to go from 81 to 84, we have some people on this call, they're at the 81 level. You've got to do 1 million in points over 90 days and have 9 direct RVPs. For you to be a CEO, you have to do, and again, for the new people here, I know this is way over your head right now. Don't worry about it. This is for people that understand what we're talking about, that have been with us in season. To be a CEO, you got to do 2 million points over 90 days. Have 12 direct RVPs. Okay? I think you all agree that's a pretty challenging task to do. Here's what the new promotion guidelines are. Starting today, 84%, 300,000 points in 6 months, or 500,000 over the course of the next 12 months. 6 direct RVPs. Again, what's an RVP? A person who has brought in at least 4 people direct to them, and they've done 20,000 points in a 90-day period of time. That's what an RVP is, okay? Well, if you have 6 of them direct to you and you do 300,000 over 6 months, again, a substantial reduction from the existing guidelines, you can get yourself, you can promote yourself, okay? And if you look at, if we'll go down to CEO here for a second, 1.2 million points over 6 months compared to the present guideline, which is 2 million over the next 90 days. So you have 6 months to do essentially 60% of the production requirements, but over 6 months, or the 2 million, but over the course of a whole year. And you could actually go to CEO. 12 direct RVPs, that hasn't changed. But see, the RVP requirement has changed, so therefore we're going to develop a whole lot more RVPs. So, you know, I think you can see the numbers have dramatically reduced, okay? And I'm going to go into some income with you here in a minute. But what's important is I want everybody to understand and get a feel for this here that, look, this may not be forever, okay? In fact, it may very well not be. So we have an opportunity here in the last quarter this year to really go bust this thing out and make things happen. So let me put some numbers to this for you so you get a feel when we talk about production, what we're saying. Okay, most of you have seen our income calculator. I'm going to keep this real simple here. And then if you, as I said, if you have some questions, go ahead and put them in the question box. I will try to get them answered for you before we get off the call today. But let me do this here, okay? You're an RVP at 70%. You can see here, and hopefully you can see my pointer. You're helping 1 family a week, and you're primarily doing that because you're training new people, okay? So you're doing 4 sales a month. That's $120,000 in income based on a $300 monthly program. Now, of course, everybody wants to be an RVP in 90 days. I can't imagine why they wouldn't want to do that. Well, some people may come up short, right? Not everybody's goal, but everybody wants to hit the goal. So you're going to develop district managers and regional managers. So just for hypothetical purposes here, I said, okay, what if you have a couple of district managers and regional managers, and they're making an additional 6 sales a month. We're not doing anything real big here. 10 sales a month, that's $168,000 a year. Of course, 4 of those a month are your personal production working with new people, right? Because, see, we get paid to field train. When we talk about personal business in our business, we're talking about you're working with a new person in their market, helping them build, and of course, you're the licensed person, so your name is going on that business, okay? Now, you may be the new unlicensed person right now, and you're working with the trainer who's teaching you the business, right? So, as you've heard me say many, many times, the partnership in our business is this. The trainer has the knowledge and the license and the expertise. The new person has the marketplace. When those 2 people are married together or partnered together, that's when our business really starts to happen, okay? New people make introductions, experienced people transact business and assist you in building your business. So this is just a small little what we call base shop at the regional vice president level. Somebody said, well, Al, if I become a regional vice president and I don't have a license yet, well, of course, you're a Q RVP, right? You're qualified, but you're not an RVP yet until you actually get your license. When you get your license, does that mean you have all the experience in the world? Of course not. But you have a contract level that enables you to go out there and make some real serious money, part-time or full-time, as you're continuing to learn the business. You also will still have someone in your leadership there that'll continue to work with you to help you, of course, because that's what our business is all about. So let's take this to the next level. Let's say in the course of 90 days, in the next 90 days, you go develop yourself and become a national vice president, okay? So you reach the 76% level. You're still you're still making 10 sales a month in your base shop. Well, now you got a raise, so you make a little bit more money. It's $194,000 a year from your base shop, but you've also now developed 3 people at the RVP level, right? Because that's the only way you can get promoted to 76 is you're going to have 3 RVPs. So we're making an assumption here that those 3 RVPs are duplicating what you're doing. Now, that may not happen in the first month or 2, and I know everybody on this call understands that. So let's say you become a national vice president. Here's where you can anticipate seeing 90 days from that point, maybe 6 months from that point, where those 3 RVPs have a chance to develop and do what you're doing, okay? Well, that's a $375,000 annual income. You're helping 40 families a month. You're doing 10 in your base shop. You have 3 RVPs doing 10 a month. And I'm not going to go a whole lot further than that. I'm just going to take it one more level here and say, I believe the holy grail here is to get to the 81% level. I think at the 81% level, you have a chance to really build a substantial business for yourself. And what if you're doing the same things we talked about? You're doing 10 sales a month in your base shop. That's a $200,000 income. But look at this here. You're getting a 19% override on your first generation RVPs. If you build 4 of them the same way, we're talking about a 50 sale a month business, okay? We're not working with thousands of people. That's a $500,000 income. If you take your personal production out of this here, that's a $400,000 income. Folks, I think you'd all agree that the dream that all of us bought when we came into this business was the opportunity to have financial freedom. And that is building a business. It's not, you know, being a personal producer for the next 10, 15, 20, 30 years. It's the goal is to build a business. Well, to build a business, everybody's got to believe they can get there. So what we have worked hard to do here is give everybody a goal and a target that they can believe and reach for and make it happen quickly. This can only happen if you collapse time frames, but I think you can see in a very short period of time, it puts it in your control. Now, I can give example after example after example on this call, but look, we have a lot of, you know, I'll use MVP, 76% on this call, and they may have 1 or 2 or 3 RVPs. But for them to go to the 79 or the 81% level, they have to build a lot more people, and they've got to do an enormous amount of production. We've reduced that down and put it in your control. You can almost do that by yourself with new people, okay? Obviously, it can't happen without new markets. It can't happen without developing new RVPs, but it's in your control. So you may have 2 RVPs right now. You go develop 2 more. You put the numbers on the board for the next 90 days. You're promoting yourself to the next level, but you have the help of people above you and below you because now we're all running for promotions. So hopefully this made sense to you. What I'm going to do is see if there's any questions here in the question box. Now, I do have a couple of people here, and I'll look at the questions if you post them in, but I've got, I believe, Wayne. Wayne, are you unmuted? Wayne? Can you hear me, Wayne?
I can hear you now.
Okay, we got you too. Hey, Wayne, if you would, we've had a lot of conversation about this, and I know you've talked to a number of people about this as well. Could you just take a couple of minutes and share with everybody on the call what your feelings are about this? And I'm going to go through the questions here and see if there's any I can answer for people.
Okay, Al, thank you and appreciate the opportunity to talk. I mean, what we have here is a real opportunity for everyone new to just starting, to a lot of us guys been around for a while at different levels, to go to a next level and do it realistically within a 90-day period. And I've talked with, a number of key people, Kristen, my daughter, and we've got Thomas, and I haven't had a chance to visit with some of their new associates, but they are just excited like crazy that this is a realistic opportunity to move up 1 or 2 levels. I've talked to several of our leaders. I've got Joel Williamson, Greg Malone, Larry McConnell. Those are 3 that I was talking to actually on the way, a couple of them here coming back from South Texas today, and they are excited. They're already at an upper level, but they have people in their base shop and their downline that now can see an opportunity to advance to 1 or 2 or 3 levels up. So this is very exciting that we have, this situation there. We all got to go to work. There's no doubt we have to see more people, and we've got to get in front of people. That's the whole key to this thing, is to get out in front of people and share the opportunity. But for all you new people that are just starting, we have several of them I know in our base shop that just got code numbers. You've got an opportunity to advance in the next 90 days to a regional manager, maybe even before you get your license, to an RVP. Now, that's exciting, because you look at the old guidelines, you can see that, you've got to put a lot of things in place. It's taken, some key associates that we've had in other base shops across the country, a year to get to the RVP status. Well, you can do that realistically in 90 days. So we all need to push for this, and the leaders out there like myself, we are going to be focusing on helping our downline, to move forward, with these guidelines in this window that we have. I know Al's got Michael down there building a base shop, and Al, we're just excited. This is we haven't had this type of opportunity to advance since we started, in last 4 or 5 years, really, with living benefits. So this is a distinct, real opportunity. Everyone take it serious, and let's go to work. Let's advance and get higher levels. Al, you there?
I'm here, Wayne. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you. There's no question about it. You hit it on the head. Even though the guidelines have been relaxed, it doesn't mean that we don't need a full-out effort to get there. But what I really love about this here is a new person can be fighting for the next promotion, and whether you're a district manager, regional manager, RVP, NVP, doesn't matter what level you're at, you now have a reachable, doable target that you can hit in the next 90 days. And all you got to do is sit down and say, okay, what do I have right now? Where do I need to be in 90 days? What pieces of this puzzle do I need? How many leaders do I have to develop in the next 90 days and get there? So you got people that are brand new here who can qualify for RVP in the next, literally in the next week or 2 or 3, go out there, get their license, okay? And they could actually be running for their next promotions in the next 90 days, okay? So, it can happen really, really fast where there's an intent to make it happen. But the goal here was to put something in your hand that's reachable, that you can see in front of you and say, you know what, I can make this happen, and I can make it happen over the next 90 days. So we appreciate you. Hey, we got really not any questions, but here's some of the posts that have been put up. People are excited. Awesome, great job. I'd like this PowerPoint. We will make it available. This is kind of a long one. But yes, if somebody asks, this is a great question, frankly, are the numbers sustainable? Well, understand something. For someone to be promoted to the RVP level, you must open up new markets with new people, okay? So, for instance, if I'm brand new in the business and Wayne is my trainer, I need to put people in front of Wayne personally in my marketplace. And we need to have at least 4 become qualified associates, which means they just have to complete the 3 steps. Not a big deal. But what if those 4, if we say an average client is I'm just using numbers here, 3,000 a year, well, that's 12,000. Well, I need 8,000 more, right? So that's going to mean that I need to put my trainer, Wayne, in front of more people for me. So you say, well, is that sustainable? Yes, it is. Why? Because Wayne now had one guy, Al Carty, and Al introduced Wayne to 6 people that came on board and became clients. I qualified by doing 20,000 points. I got promoted to RVP, but my business, Al's business, has 6 people. Well, each one of those 6 people are going to want to do the same thing. You see, Bruce, hopefully you're hearing me. Because, see, each one of those new people, they're going to want to get to the RVP level. Okay, so if all 6 of my people, and just being in a perfect world here, if all 6 of my people are pushing to become vice presidents like I did, well, yes, it's sustainable, and more importantly, it's going to grow, and it's going to grow a whole lot faster when people really feel that they can get there, okay? So that's a great question, and there'll be more questions like that, so it's okay to ask those questions. There's a bunch more up here, and what I'll do is I'll read through them, and what I'd like to do is, Ramsey, are you in a position to speak, Ramsey?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
If you would, because I know, yes, I can hear you great. I know you've got a big base shop. You and Leo built a big base shop in the Northeast. If you would, take a few words, say a few words here of your thoughts on how this can explode our business, meaning collectively as a team here over the next 90 days.
You know, I was talking to Renee, and I was mentioning it to her, and she said to me, she says, we're giving back. We're bringing back to our people. And that is true, because we're giving them the chance to be somewhere where it's important. When do you really own your business? When you're at 70%. Would it be easier for you to get your ring and to get equity share if you're at 45% or if you're at 70% when you're licensed? Think about it for a second. Now, why would we do that? Is it just about getting 20,000? No. Yes, minimum is to get 4 people, but what's the easiest sale that you can make? Is it in a new associate? Some of the people that are going to be listening on this call are not going to recruit only 4, they're going to recruit more. And by the way, you have family, you have friends, you have relatives. Everybody needs living benefits. Everybody needs tax-free. Everybody needs the IUL. Well, when you talk to them and they become clients and they're helping you get that promotion, guess what? You're going to talk to them about the business too. This is about building a base shop. This is about building a base shop while you're benefiting from it. This is about building a base shop and learning how to do it while you're getting promoted. That's amazing. Now, some people will look at it and try to complicate it a little bit. Well, I don't know. Can I do it? Well, guess what? You never know until you go out and try to do it. I had a person tell me, says, you know what? I can taste it. I can taste it in my mouth. And that is true. If you can taste it, you can go out and do it. Now, how do you do it? Simple. Very simple. Go back to your list, pick up 30, 40 names from your list, and sit down with your trainer and start banging those calls. You put your trainer in front of 10, 15, 20 people, you didn't just make it. You make it in October. Not by the end of the year. You would have put all these numbers by the end of October. And then you have to help those people that came in to do it so you can be at 81%. It is amazing. But you know what, as we say, it's right there. And you got to go out and get it. This is an opportunity. I'm telling you, it might not come back again. Go grab it right now. This is your chance. If you're not licensed, that's okay. Just go do it. Wouldn't it be nice to get $3,000 before Christmas? Make sure you count me in for a present, by the way, if you do. Think about it. This can make you run. Just grab it and run with it. Thanks, Sam.
All right, Ramsey, awesome. Hey, you know, he hit it on the head because that's what you're doing. You're building strong base shops here because you see the key here is you got two things happening, okay? People are getting better field trained because they're seeing more people because they have an incentive to see more people. So they have an incentive to put the trainer in front of those people because that's their best opportunity to advance, right? In other words, if you're new in this business, do you have a better chance of advancing and getting people on board, working with, say, somebody like Ramsey, and I can name a bunch of people on this call, or doing it by yourself? Well, that's a no-brainer, right? You can advance more quickly if you have a bona fide trainer. Well, you both have an incentive to make that happen. Your incentive being new is, $3,000 reimbursement. That's pretty good for a couple of months' work part-time, working with somebody, right? And secondly, you come out of the gate with a vice president contract. The trainer also has an incentive because they're building their business with you. And that's the goal of everybody in this business, is to build with other people. So there's some other questions here that I'll go through. What if I have somebody that's about to make an RVP? This is from Anna, and this is a great question. Well, if they're about to make RVP and they qualified through the existing system, which, by the way, we have people doing that all the time, they just won't do it as often as the new one. Well, they absolutely can run for the next promotion if they meet the guidelines. So the production is not grandfathered. So if they already have 4 legs and they want to go to 81% over the next 90 days, they must do 80,000 points over the next 90 days. The people are grandfathered, but the production starts today, okay? The production of 20,000 or 35,000 or 50,000, right? The numbers we showed are here. That is over the next 90 days. So you may have some business already submitted, but it's not issued yet. When it's issued, it counts, okay? But prior business does not, or prior people do. So hopefully that answered your question. Anthony, absolutely. No reason why we can't use this in New York, as we have everybody on the LOA system, right? Licensed only associates for the state of New York. No reason why it won't work there. Brian Daly, you're right, buddy. Look, you can develop 10 players here and build yourself a heck of a business. That's absolutely true. Brandon, I love this. Not a question, statement. Me and my team are in straight beast mode. I love that. I love it. I see the focus at RVP and getting people focused on RVP. Brian Daly again. You're absolutely right. This is all about developing regional vice presidents. Now, I want you to understand, folks, the big picture here is equity share points. Well, are you going to get there quicker with a 70% versus a 45 or a 55%? Now, look, success only comes before work in the dictionary. I think we all understand. We got to put the work in. But clearly, if you put in the work in and you're building your team, you're going to have a better chance to get your ring or get to 100,000, which starts your equity share points, obviously with a higher level of contract and a higher spread if you're truly building a team. So I'm not a big fan. Contracts don't mean anything for personal production, right? Where they mean something is when you're building a business, because the spread that you build. I mean, if you're at 80, and that's why I said 81%. We got a bunch of people on this call that are RVPs or above. You get to 81% and you develop 4 solid RVPs, you get a 19% override as those RVPs are growing in the business. That's a pretty substantial override on your business, right? Because that's really what it's all about, okay? A goal that's attainable. You're right, Brad. It's a goal that is attainable, and it absolutely is. Everybody on this call can get to your next promotion or 2, maybe even 3 in the next 90 days. If I were an RVP on this call right now, I'd be zeroed in on 81%. I'd be zeroed in on what do I got to do the next 90 days to get to the 81% level? What do I need? I need 4 RVPs. What's an RVP? One person who has 4 people, and we do 20,000 points. Well, if I develop 4 of those times 20, that's 80,000. That's the number I need. 4 is the number I need. I can actually go from 70 to 81 in the next 90 days. Why not? It certainly can happen, and the only way it can happen is with people. My team and I are ready to run. The answer more than ever is recruiting. Mike, you're right, Mike. Absolutely. Folks, it's all about building people, okay? Don't think for once, because I want you to understand something, folks. When we're saying we're talking about, 3 RVPs, it's not 2, it's not 2.5, it's 3. It's not 80,000, it's 80,000 is the number to go to 81. It's not 75. It's not 72, it's 80, okay? To be an RVP, it's a minimum of 4 qualified associates, not 3, not 2, but 4, and they all have to have completed the 3 steps, and you got to do 20,000, not 18, not 15, but 20. So I want to be clear that the only way that we can maintain the integrity of this, both for ourselves and for the company, is we got to hit the targets and the bogeys that we have out there. Clearly, we can, okay? Plenty of opportunity here. Cassandra, this is a long one. I'm assuming I can read it. When a boss leads a company, you remember who they are. When a leader leads a team, you remember who you are. True leaders don't create followers. They create more leaders. I'm laser focused on taking away every obstacle out of the way so that my team can rise together. Love it, Cassandra. That's what it's all about. And you see, what's been missing, in my opinion, gang, on our team, and now we have the control of it, is we didn't have enough people running for the next promotion. Sometimes that target was a little bit too far away, and it became a back burner thought. What we've done, I believe, with this system is put it right in front of you, okay? It put it right in front of you to say, you know what, I can get this. I can be an RVP in 90 days or less. I can be an MVP. I can become an ENVP. I can do it. It's within my control. And what it's still going to take, though, is building people, but just not as many, okay? When you look at RVP right now, have 39 people do 60,000 versus 4 and do 20, that's a no-brainer. So if every new person was focused on becoming an RVP, the draft of that goes all the way through the whole team. Would you agree with that? Every new person is fighting. That means every leader is fighting. That means every, master leader, whatever you want to call them, everybody's running for their next promotion. And look, mark my words, folks, we will develop CEOs next year as a result of this new system, okay? So take it seriously. Put your plan together. Let's make it happen. I got one more slide for you here, and here's what it is. You might say, okay, what do I need to do next? Of course, you need to go back and figure out what you need to do to get your next level. And here's what I'd like you to do. Here's my email, al@nlstoday.com. I'm sure you can all see that on the screen. Here's all I want you to do, because, see, I want to know if you're running. I want to know if your team is running, okay? And we want to keep in communication with you. So if you're not prepared to run for your next promotion right now, no problem. You take whatever time you need, okay? But those of you that are committed to running for your next promotion, we are going to have a lot more communication. We're going to help you get there. We're going to do whatever it takes, but I need to know who you are. So all I need you to do, send me a quick that looks like this. I, Al Cardi, am running for my next promotion of fill in the blank, okay? So you tell me what your next promotion level is. That's all I need, one sentence. You can even text to me, okay? My number, for those of you, I probably should have put that on the screen, but most of you have my number, 401-601-2208. Just let me know you're running. We want to have more communication with you over the next 90 days, and I promise you we're going to blow this thing up. This is going to be the prelude to what's going to be a phenomenal 2017. Last thing I want to say, and I'll let you all go because I know it's Sunday night and I know it's late on the East Coast, okay? That look, in June we have our annual convention. The whole goal behind this is to have more people walk across that stage getting their $100,000 ring. What does that mean? That means equity share, okay? That means they have now qualified for equity share points. So I'm excited about this here. This has been on my mind for a long time. We've had lots of conversation with the leadership about this. I think we have something here, not think I know. We have something here that can explode all of our teams if we'll commit to it. We still got to put the work in, but now we've got a chance to put the work in and actually have a target to shoot for. So once again, I appreciate everybody. I don't see that there's any questions here. What Brian asked, the 4 RVPs must hit their numbers to count. Absolutely. So for your 4, it's an 81. That's right. So if you're an RVP today and you have 4 new people you bring on board, if you get all 4 of them to qualify for RVP in the next 90 days, that means they each have recruited 4 new people that are qualified associates, and they each did 20,000. You and those 4 can qualify at the same time. The 4 can make RVP, and you can make ENVP at 81%. Now, of course, you can't get to 81 without a license, but you can get to 70 without a license. So you can become a qualified regional vice president. As soon as you get your license, now you're a regional vice president. And oh, by the way, if you hit those numbers, you get reimbursed $3,000. So there's no reason for anybody not to be going for that, even as an unlicensed person. Just work your trainer's butt off, get those people in place, put the production together, go get your license. And let me tell you, some of you could actually become vice presidents here in the next, say, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, because you already have stuff happening, okay? You could actually get 1, 2, 3 promotions here over the next 90 days, even if you've only been with us a month. Now, just in closing this out, okay, folks, look, a title doesn't make a person, okay? Understand that you may, if you become a regional vice president in 90 days, that gives you a higher contract level, gives you the ability to make more money. Do you still have to learn more about this business? Of course you do. And your trainer and your leaders are still going to help you, but you're doing it at a higher contract level. The work still has to be done. It's not going to change. But what it can change is your financial outlook a whole lot faster by you being able to move faster in the system when everybody is running for promotions. So with that said, I appreciate everybody. If you have any other questions, feel free to email me, text me, call me, whatever you like. I'm going to just stop the recording here.